Hello, and welcome back to the next episode in our Pillars of Eternity campaign, playing as Kasemir the Cipher. We're picking up from where we left off in the last episode, which places us in Ondra's Gift in the city of Defiance Bay. We spoke to Kern, the gem dealer, bought a bunch of gems from him, and upgraded a lot of our equipment to exceptional quality, so we're now looking pretty good, pretty strong, I think ready to take on another challenge, continue on with the main quest. So that's what we're going to do this episode. Just by way of a recap, the quest is Never Far from the Queen. The latest objective, we have to find a way into the Temple of Woedica. Merwald has told me that I might find the leaden key in the City of Defiance, never far from the Queen. It is there I must go if I am to track down the man who triggered my awakening. So, let's start from the start. So, our first objective was to speak with the steward in Cardnua, which we did. Merwald is dead, and what answers he provided me were short and cryptic. The steward in the Great Hall of Cardnua appears to have been the only other sentient being in the fortress. She may be able to provide some guidance. We then restored the Eastern Barbican, which blocked the road to Defiance Bay, so that was necessary to repair to get here. And then our objective was to go to the Temple of Woedica. So we learned from Merwald that members of the Leaden Key tend to worship Woedica, and the steward has mentioned that there is a temple dedicated to Woedica in Defiance Bay. And we asked around, and we learned that the temple can be found in a district called the First Fires. But unfortunately, while we were trying to find a way into the temple, we discovered that the Temple of Woedica in the First Fires is in ruins, above ground at least. A half-buried staircase indicates that there is more to the temple below ground, although the staircase is inaccessible. It's possible that there's another way in. A hooded man, presumably a member of the Leaden Key, was ambushed on his way through the catacombs. The disguise that would get him past the Leaden Key sentries was lost when the man was carried off by trolls. An old spirit haunting the temple told me about an alternate entrance through the catacombs. He said it should be near the southern gate of the Copper Lane district. So, to get into the Temple of Woedica, we need to go to the catacombs, and there was a hood that we discovered, and I think I put it in the stash, but we might need that to trick. There it is, the Woedica hood. A dark mask bearing the stylized countenance of Woedica is attached by thread to a black hood. Worn together, they obscure most of the defining features of the wearer's head. So that is what we will need to infiltrate the Temple of Woedica. So that's where we're going to head now, to the Copper Lane district. And we'll go to the catacombs there, and then head to the Temple of Woedica. Alright, let's just thinking, let's go down. Actually, I think I want to get Pelagina in my party. Maybe I should do that first. Can I change, where can I change party members? I need to remember. I think you have to be at the stronghold, but maybe you can do it at an inn as well, which would be, you've got to be at the stronghold. That's most unfortunate. Alright, well, I want to swap Pelagina for Haravius, so let's go to Cardnua. It'll take us a day to get there, but that's fine.
The keep's coming along nicely.
And we'll swap out
May
Haravius
well watch your step.
for Pelagina, who's leveled up actually, so let's level her up. We'll give her survival. And she gets another ability, Lay on Hands. It's not the worst. Inspiring Triumph. Inspires all allies in the vicinity when the paladin downs an enemy, providing a temporary bonus to all defenses. That's also not bad. Plus 10 accuracy granted to an ally attacking the same target. That's also good. And Righteous Soul is also very good. We've got a few spells here. So liberating exhortation. Suspends hostile effects twice per encounter. Zealous charge. No, we don't need that. Deprive the unworthy. Suspends beneficial effects on an enemy. This increases deflection and revives them with endurance. 336 endurance. It's like a full res, basically. The 20% attack speed is cool too. 3 per rest. Oh, that's per rest though. That's per encounter. Why is that one per rest but the others are per encounter? That's a bit annoying. The res is pretty good. Not gonna lie. Once per encounter as well. That's pretty handy. Coordinated attacks is also very good. And this one's also quite good. I think we'll go with the revive, because that's quite potent. Hopefully we can pick the other ones up another time. Alright, so we've got Pallegina. Let's have a look at our stronghold. What's the stronghold button? H. What are we constructing at the moment? Okay, that'll be done in 24 hours. Alright. So let's go back to Copper Lane and then carry on with the main quest. Hireling wages. Okay, how much money do I have? A messenger from Defiance Bay has arrived at Cardnua. Are you serious? I just left. Okay, he's not going to leave anytime soon, so I don't have to rush that, thankfully. Alright, let's go to the catacombs. Now, a consideration, of course, is that with the party setup, is that some companions come back in Pillars of Eternity 2 Dead 5, and not all of them, so I am bearing that in mind with my party choices. Alright, let's go down here. And the Temple of Woedica entrance is down here. Oh, not down here, sorry. Alright. Drop a quick save there.
Nice and slow.
Okay. In front of you looms the ghostly, hollow image of the man who was present at your awakening. He casts a pale, sickly light in the dank corridor as he regards you.
You are from Kratom, my boy.
His words are an echo in your mind from a time long past, and you know your response before you speak it, as if it has always been. Only recently.
A remarkable city. Truly one of the most impressive we have encountered outside of our own. Many exceptional people who have joined our cause come from Kratom. What made you decide to join our order?
The world needs to know about the true gods. I'm honestly not sure. Your teachings spoke to me. We'll go with... Yeah, your teachings spoke to me. Actually... No, I'm not sure.
As long as you are assured in your faith, the rest is not so important.
The man chuckles.
Are you ready to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen?
I am. Curious.
And what does the flame reveal?
Hafmach. Okay. What's over here?
Found something.
What did you find? That's odd. We found something, but I don't know what. We should be able to open this.
Huh?
We did find something, presumably that should allow us to open this. Weird.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's pop on our Woedican hood. And we'll go and infiltrate
How do you do?
the Temple of Woedica. The mercenary looks at his feet. Please, go on in. His eyes dart up to the rest of your party. You know the acolyte doesn't like guests. I'd keep any friends of yours out of the main chamber. He shuffles. She's already in a state on account of someone being late. No sense in provoking her further. What's going on here? He holds up his hands. I haven't a clue, I assure you. We keep to ourselves and watch for uninvited guests, just like your acolyte told us. No questions asked. You need something else? I expect they've already started inside. Tell me about this place. As far as I can tell, we're underneath first fires, probably under that ruined temple. Okay, farewell. Are you the one the acolyte's waiting on? She's in a peak now.
Yeah.
I don't understand all this secret handshake business, but it pays.
Welcome.
He avoids looking at you. Can I help you?
Gods keep you.
I'm very perplexed as to why I can't see. There should be a way to open this, or maybe we can only open it from the other side. But let's just exit and re-enter and just see if that triggers anything to appear. It must be that we can only open it from the other side, but we somehow spotted the lever on the other side prematurely. I don't know. Now, I wonder what happens if I take off my mask now and then speak to them. Let's see. The mercenary eyes you warily as you approach, his weapon readied. What are you doing here? You don't look like one of that masked lot. What's going on here? Since you don't know, you clearly don't belong here. The guard whistles sharply and you hear shouts of alarm in the distance. Oh, okay. Well, let's not do that then. Oh, we could use that intellect check. I'm sure that would work. Let's try it with that. What are you doing here? You don't look like one of that masked lot. No, indeed not. Relax. How would I know to be here if I didn't belong? He thinks carefully, then nods. Alright then. Go on in and report to the acolyte and she'll give you your assignment. They should be just about finished with their meeting in the big chamber. Did you know anything about this place? He shakes his head. As far as I can tell, we're underneath first fires, probably under that ruined temple. And any idea what's going on around here? A word of advice, friend. Don't ask questions. Just go and do what you're told. Okay. Did they send you to check on that nervous kid in the library?
Hello.
Make it quick.
Good day to you.
One of the other men swears there's a secret treasure chamber down here. Yeah, I think I discovered it, kind of. Heading straight for the salty mast once we're done here. Not a whole lot of excitement so far, but at least it's easy coin.
How do you do?
Are you the one the Acolyte's waiting on? She's in a peak now. Alright. That's all fine. Let's carry on. I don't understand all this secret handshake business, but it pays. One of the other men swears their secret treasure. Okay, yeah, those are all the same lines.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Botanical garden construction complete. Nice. We can start on the forum, I guess. The forum is where ideas and strategies are cultivated and shared. Upgrading the forum will grant an intellect bonus upon resting at Bright Hollow. We're really running out of money now, but that's okay. Take all of that.
Nice and quiet.
I don't know where to go next.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Is that the main
Worth a
chamber?
look.
What have I discovered here? Ah. Nice. Fine rod. Bit of copper. That's not too bad. Okay, I'm not sure what is through there. Let's check up here. It's a lot of mercenaries.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves. Hello.
By the deeds of my tongue and... Oh, that's not it. So there's an initiate here. A book lies on the table, its pages filled with some kind of unintelligible cryptography.
I've got it. Finished.
Steal all that stuff from in front of him. The queen that was and still is. It's definitely something
Keeping quiet.
that I missed. Ah, that didn't show up before.
Worth a look.
Unless I was standing on it. I don't know, I'm pretty sure that didn't show up before. But anyway, that's fine. We've got some treasure in here. And some traps. You think you hear the faint sound of whispering coming from the skulls, but the words are unintelligible.
How may I help?
Let's get the rest of our party in there.
Yeah.
Aye?
What do we have here? Nature's Embrace. Damage reduction to burn and freeze, and it grants wood skin when hit by a critical hit twice per encounter. Plus 6 damage reduction to pierce, shock, burn, and slash. That's not bad. Alright.
Nice and quiet.
Let's go speak to this fella.
Good day, stranger.
A lone figure paces back and forth, tapping his fingers at his sides, muttering to himself. He jumps when he sees you, his hands on his chest. By the flame, you startled me. Shouldn't you be in the meeting, attendant? The acolyte's waiting for you. He clasps his hands, his thumbs twitching. It's not time for the initiate's meeting, is it? He twiddles his fingertips. I'll be ready, soon. What are you doing here? He resumes his pacing. I've been practicing the passphrases. I know them backwards and forwards, but I get so nervous every time I think about repeating them to the acolyte. He wrings his hands. Why are you nervous? He stops in his tracks. I've never seen the acolyte's face, but I can't stop wondering what she looks like under that robe. He twists his fingers together, and when she peers into my mind, I'm afraid she'll catch me thinking about that. You hear him swallow. Also, if I get the passphrases wrong, she'll kill me where I stand. Ha! Then look beneath the robe, I say. Fail her test, but succeed in the more important one. Once you have nothing to hide, a Cipher's got no power over you. You should just stop thinking about it. I know, he grabs the sides of his robe, but the more I tell myself to stop thinking about it, the more I think about it. Okay, well you can practice on me. Okay. He ushers in a deep breath with fluttering hands. Here goes. First question. State your name and purpose. Answer. My name belongs to the gods and my hand to their service. Second question. What company do you seek? Answer. I seek the company of shadows that our labors may remain secret. Third question. Tell me of your labors. Answer. To see that the craft of Kith and Wilder does not disturb what bones the gods have buried. Fourth question. How do we know your purpose? Answer. You shall know it by the confession of my tongue, the deeds of my hand, and the oath on my soul. Riddles upon riddles. What bones the gods have buried? It's very dramatic, isn't it? Oh, I'm sorry. Please continue. Fifth question. And how is your oath guarded? Answer. It is sealed by the leaden key. He sighs with a nervous chuckle. That wasn't so hard. Try it again. Alright, so he just goes over it again. Sounds like you've got it. I do, I think. He bites his lip. I'm just going to practice a few more times by myself before my meeting. You need something else? I'll be ready for the initiates meeting soon. Honest. Tell me about the meeting. This must be your first time. The Acolyte communicates with each of us individually to hear of our progress on old tasks and to assign us new ones. He shivers with a mixture of pleasure and dread. It's a unique process. She's a Cipher, so she can speak to you without words. Fascinating, until you realize she can probably read your thoughts just as easily. And what do you know about these tasks? He laughs nervously. Only what I absolutely need to. We protect the secrets of the gods, so discretion is essential. He waves a hand between the two of you. We receive our instructions from the Acolyte, just as she receives hers from someone else, and so on, right up to the Grandmaster. Our role is to obey, knowing as little about the overall plan, and each other, as possible. Well, how can you be confident you're doing the right thing when you know so little? He snorts. That's easy. The leaden key has been around for ages by the blessing of the gods. You only have to look around to see the perils of trying to usurp divine power. Killing a god in the Saints' War has cursed us all, and the heresy of animancy has only worsened matters. Try to replace a soul, and you inevitably end up with a monster. It's all been a warning. There are some powers we just shouldn't have. Tell me about these secrets. He jumps back. You shouldn't even be asking. Whatever they are, they're secrets for a reason. Our job is to guard them, not to know them. I see. We've been entrusted with important work. It's an honor, but not without its challenges. Alright, goodbye. You need something else? I'll be ready for the initiates meeting soon. Okay. Alright. Never mind. I just need to stay here and practice a few more times. He clears his throat.
Huh?
Alright. Now, what if I speak to him without the hood on? No, he doesn't seem to care.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's have a look again at these passphrases. So first question, my name belongs to the gods and hands to their service. Company of shadows. Third question, craft of Kith and Wildered, bones gods have buried. Confession of my tongue, deeds of my hand, oath on my soul. And the fifth one is sealed by the leaden key. Alright. That'll probably come in handy to know that, so just wanted to do a bit of revision. Alright, let's go through here.
Nice and quiet.
Aloth falters and brings a hand to his forehead. He takes a staggering step forward, coughing and sputtering.
Back, ye clod! Those hooded fiends are nigh to be trusted!
Aloth, hey, now's not the best time for that. He grimaces, catching his breath. It's nothing. I'm fine. He coughs again. This probably isn't the best place to linger, anyhow.
Slowly now.
How much money do I have now? 1,500, nice. You hear murmurs and chants on the other side of the door. A ritual of some sort is already underway. Retreat from the door. Turn back to the hall. I need to make a decision. Let's see what happens if we bring our party.
Yeah.
You open the door and stride into the chamber, motioning for the rest of your party to accompany you. I think that's just going to lead to a fight, but let's see. Several shrouded figures are lined up across from a hooded woman. The figure at the head of the line approaches her, and the woman places her outstretched hand on the stranger's forehead. They stand in silent communion as you look on. A few moments later, the stranger steps aside and resumes his place in the circle around the statue. The hooded woman looks past you to your party. The other figures do the same, muttering among themselves. The woman points a long finger at you. Stop them! Alright, so it leads to a fight. Let's then not do that. We'll head into the chamber alone. I feel like we'll get more information this way. But I did just want to see what would happen.
Sure.
Alright, we'll continue into the chamber alone. You open the door and stride into the chamber. Several shrouded figures are lined up across from a hooded woman. The figure at the head of the line approaches her, and the woman places her outstretched hand on the stranger's forehead. They stand in silent communion as you look on. A few moments later, the stranger steps aside and resumes his place in the circle around the statue. The woman turns towards you. You are late, attendant. Even though her face is concealed, you sense her rage in her dangerously low voice and in the sudden silence of the others in the chamber.
I've been waiting on your reports. Quickly now, state your name and purpose.
The woman beckons you closer with curling fingers. She rests her open hand on your forehead, and you feel the heat from her palm through the thick material of your hood. Her voice is so low and soft that you're not certain whether she's speaking aloud or in your head. Mutter indistinctly, none of your business, maybe later. My name belongs to the gods, and my hand to their service.
What company do you seek?
Oh man, I'm so tempted to take the clever response. Her voice chimes again, rich and resonant. Is that an offer? She snatches her hand back. A piercing scream sounds from under her hood. Imposter. Alright. I couldn't resist. I could not resist. But we'll answer properly. It's too tempting.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we'll go in alone. We'll just skip through that.
I've been waiting on your reports. Quickly now, state your name and purpose.
My name belongs to the gods, and my hand to their service.
What company do you seek?
Her voice chimes again, rich and resonant. I seek the company of shadows, that our labors may remain secret.
Tell me of your labors.
To see that the craft of Kith and Wilder does not disturb what bones the gods have buried.
How do we know your purpose?
The voice rings like a bell between your ears. You shall know it by the confession of my tongue, the deeds of my hand, and the oath on my soul. I would love to say that.
And how is your oath guarded?
It is sealed by the leaden key.
Welcome, attendant. Tell me of your exploits.
Her voice reaches you as a whisper, slithering first into one ear and then the other. In your mind, you see a building, magnificent with trellises and tiles, and located on a pristine boulevard. The wealthy and learned stroll in and out, trading knowledge and coin.
Does he wait still?
Yet it also houses misery and madness. Somewhere within its rotten core sits a man, his hair matted but his eyes alert. He watches and waits, a prisoner by choice. The acolyte's question echoes in your mind. Does he wait still? Yes.
Did they arrive?
The acolyte's vision takes you out of Defiance Bay and to a town in the wilderness with a watermill. A signpost on one of the paths reads Deerford. Several figures huddle together, shrouded in cloaks and hoods. An image of ruins suddenly looms in your mind. 2 skeletal effigies flank a cleft in a mountainside. Did they arrive? Yes.
Your information shall be relayed. Now, for your next task.
The ruins fade from your mind, and in their place is a palimpsest of a neighborhood. Run-down estates are cobbled around a cemetery and an ancient tower. Savage shapes prowl the streets, and in the tower a man hunches over a strange mechanism. You can't see him clearly, but there's something unnatural about him.
Stop him. And above all, don't let him meet her.
You see a woman, deathly pale, with a scar over her heart. The acolyte shows you a door in the base of the tower, a seemingly impenetrable slab of stone and copper. But then she shows you the invisible split between the perfectly matched halves, and you understand how the copper veins convert a command into action. The command comes to your mind, a surprising familiarity about it. You now know, or you know how to open the door. Interesting. Rundown estate, savage shapes prowl the street. A man hunches over a strange mechanism. Stop him, and above all, don't let him meet her. Okay. Okay, I shall. Her hand rests lightly on your head. Have you any questions, attendant? What is this place? This is what remains of the Temple of Woedica. The acolyte shows you a grand structure, surrounded by the faithful. The fires of revolution destroyed everything above us, and left the remains abandoned, perfect for our purposes. And who are you? I am the acolyte. That is all you need to know. Remind me about the man in the tower. Okay. Don't let him meet her. Could I see the vision of the ruins again? The acolyte's vision takes you out of Defiance Bay and to a town that you somehow know is called Deerford. Several figures huddle together, shrouded in cloaks and hoods. An image of ruins suddenly looms in your mind. 2 skeletal effigies flank a cleft in the mountainside. The man in the tower. Well, it must be Deerford Village. Tower could be that. The leather dude. Don't let him meet her. Show me the prisoner. In your mind, you see a building, magnificent with trellises and tiles, yada yada yada. Somewhere within its front course sits a man, his hair matted but his eyes alert. He watches and waits, a prisoner by choice. No, I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Alright. Well, farewell. So, that's interesting. We've got some new quests.
How may I help?
3 new quests. Okay. Very interesting. Our party can come in now. Whether by design or by consequence of the sputtering candlelight, the hooded statue's face is almost impossible to see. Talk to the acolyte. She's in charge here. We'll rebuild the temple someday. Aren't you supposed to be at your post? Get back to your post. No name is here, initiate. This is one of the few truly forgotten places in Defiance Bay. It feels good to serve the gods, even in secret. Have you any questions? No questions.
Nice and slow.
Alright. So that opens stairs. Talk of Defiance. Only usable by Ranger. Plus 25 defense against Charmed, Confused. 10 against Dominate, and 10 concentration. Okay. So that's good for Sagani, I suppose.
Light, flame, and sound.
Devotees have placed assorted keys, their teeth filed away among the runnels of wax.
We'll keep to ourselves.
So, we've read all the dialogue from them. Alright. Let's have a look at these new quests that we've been given. Through Death's Gate, the Acolyte's vision showed me mysterious ruins somewhere outside of Deerford. The Leaden Key has sent operatives to find the site, though their purpose is unknown to me. I don't know exactly where these ruins are, but perhaps someone in Deerford Village does. Okay. The Acolyte showed me a vision of an ancient tower in a derelict district of Defiance Bay. There was a strange man in the tower, working on some kind of machine. I also saw a woman with a scar over her heart. I don't know where she is, but I suspect that she holds the key to whatever happened there. The Leaden Key was interested in this tower for some reason. I need to understand what it does if I'm to figure out their plans. The Leaden Key Acolyte showed me an ancient tower near a cemetery in a neighborhood filled with rundown estates. Following this lead will require locating the tower. Asking around would be a place to start, perhaps among the patrolling justiciars who would know the city well. Oh, that's a good idea. And lastly, the man who waits. The Leaden Key Acolyte showed me a vision of an agent in a place of misery and madness. I need to find this agent and discover his or her plan to see if it holds any clues to finding the man I'm searching for. Okay. That also house misery and madness. That must be the Brackenbury Sanitarium. Perhaps the guards will know of it. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Let's leave all of these people alive for now. Maybe we'll come back to them once we complete the quests. The steward of Cardnur has received a letter for you. Okay. Durgan's Battery. That's the White March. And she has a matter of some importance to discuss. Okay. Fair enough. Ah, we exited. It's no longer covered in rubble.
A moment, please. I feel I should explain myself.
Alright, Aloth, I will speak to you.
How may I help?
Let's take my Woedican hood off as well.
How may I help?
Alright, Aloth, what's going on?
About my episode in the catacombs. There's something I should have told you earlier.
That's an understatement. He clasps his hands together, slowly massaging a knuckle with his thumb. I meant no harm. I thought I could keep it to myself. That when we resolved the matter of your soul, we would also address my problem.
I also have an awakened soul. But unlike yours, mine is a presence that shares my senses and my skin, making herself manifest at the most unwelcome times.
He sighs. He closes his eyes and grits his teeth. His lips quiver and twitch with the vestiges of some internal debate. Several seconds later, he opens his eyes again. They're watery and bloodshot.
I'm sorry. I've tried to learn to control Isilmir. I've gotten stronger, but so has she.
He shakes his head. Why didn't you... tell me about Isilmir.
Artless, uncouth, a creature of rash impulses and feeble faculties. She wags her impertinent tongue when she should listen.
He winces, his expression rippling between control and chaos.
Aye, this one's fit to boil. Hard to get this gaff over anything tisn't to do with books and spell speak.
His face flickers with a sly grin. He grimaces, running his hands through his hair. I have none of her memories. Berath spared me that much, but her coarse manners and intolerable hill-speak suggest a provincial from a very, very long time ago. She tends to surface a hair's breadth from conflict, when the fuse is burned down and teeth are on edge, and when she shows up, she doesn't stop to gauge a situation. She just acts. Sounds like you could take a few cues from her. Cues or vulgarisms? He rolls his eyes and crosses his arms over his chest. I've had to live with that hayseed for years. There's nothing to be learned from her. Nothing civilized anyway. He frowns, looking away. So why didn't you say something sooner?
I learned to keep her a secret a very long time ago. Those with awakened souls are shunned, mistrusted. And after your experience with Meerwald, I'm certain you can see why. You need to be careful.
He shakes his head and looks up at us. Is this going to be a problem?
Merely an annoyance. Although...
He purses his lips into a thin, crooked line. He lowers his voice and clasps his hands behind his back. Minute twitches and spasms along his arms betray his fidgeting.
Defiance Bay is said to have an entire institution dedicated to the study and cure of soul-related ailments. Since our journeys have already brought us to the city, perhaps we could speak with someone there.
Sure, if it's helpful to you, we'll go.
Thank you. This has been a great burden.
His shoulders loosen by the slightest fraction. Let's talk about something else. Aloth looks at you with quiet attentiveness. How may I be of service? I'd like to know more about Isilmir. He raises an eyebrow. Such as? Well, when did she awaken? My father was a strict man. He expected the best from his only child, and he didn't tolerate failure. His face becomes drawn. At times he could be rather adamant, particularly when he'd been drinking. Isilmir manifested on one such occasion. To be honest, I don't remember the specifics, only that he was more careful with me after that. You said that you'd learned to hide her a long time ago. My mother instructed me to keep her a secret after she first emerged. She feared that knowledge of my awakening would render me an outcast. Even though Isilmir proved useful against my father, I trusted my mother's advice, and I've since come to see the wisdom behind it. Meerwald is an extreme example, but one that I can relate to more and more each year. Could I talk directly to her? He gives you a taut frown. Her usurpations are uncomfortable enough. I'm not eager to invite her into my consciousness more than necessary. Alright, let's discuss something else. Indeed. Any thoughts on what I should do next? His mouth twitches and he frowns. You're looking for the leaden key now, yes? If I were you, I'd want to know what they're after. His eyes narrow. I expect the leads from the Acolyte should prove most helpful. Indeed. Alright, so we need to find an expert on awakenings somewhere in Defiance Bay. I've been asking myself, if I was a murderous secret society in Deerwood, what would I do? But none of my ideas are very good.
What? Yes? Yes, my friend?
Nothing new for him. Chanter's purpose lies in the telling of stories. Mostly true stories at that.
I'm ready. Need something?
Okay, I think we're all good. Alright.
Yeah.
We don't have anything new to say to him. So, let's find one of the justiciars. They'll be around the city, near the entrances and exits, I suppose. Yeah, there we go. What is it? Well, I'm looking for a neighborhood with a tower. It's near a cemetery. Best you stop looking then. The place you want is Heritage Hill. You can see the tower over the district walls out that way. The Justiciar points to the northwest. But something happened there. They don't let people in anymore, and none of the knights want to be posted anywhere close to it. Steer clear if you know what's good for you. Okay. And where are the mad kept in Defiance Bay? Only place around here that takes them in is the Brackenbury Sanitarium. I've heard they can treat your soul there, take the madness away. But there's just as many stories coming out of that place that'll chill your blood. There's a man, if you want to call him that, Ethelmower there. He's head warden. If you're visiting or checking yourself in, he's the one to talk to. Okay, thank you, farewell. So Heritage Hill and the Brackenbury Sanitarium, they're the two places we need to go. And speak to the head warden. Maybe we'll do the Brackenbury Sanitarium first. And then Heritage Hill. And then we'll see how we go with the rest of our objectives.
Hello.
Alright. It's the head warden, Ethelmower. What about Nans? Oh, interesting. Nans regards you. Let's come back to Nans. We'll speak to the head warden first.
Good day to you.
Ah, the Watcher. What brings you here? Does anyone here know anything about awakenings? There's an animancer on the lower floor who came all the way from Revuar to study them. Take the stairs down and look for Belasaga. Okay. And you may have a member of the Leaden Key in your midst. Ethelmer groans, and the stone around him shudders. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own. But a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the Leaden Key as well, I take it? They have something I need. They're up to something and I'm trying to determine what. They are always up to something. Of that you may rest assured. If their plots have come to involve you, you have my sympathies. Do you have some idea of who this person might be? Who? It would be unwise to consider anyone above suspicion. Very well. In that case, I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in their offices downstairs. You will report anything suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. Okay.
Good day to you.
Have you learned anything of interest? No, not yet. Question the animancers. Okay. We've got one animator here.
Hail, traveler.
Hello again. Can I be of some use to you? Yeah, do you know anything about awakenings? I'm afraid that's not my area of expertise. Okay. Fair enough. We'll ask Nans now. Nans regards you with bright, intelligent eyes. Can I help you with something? Yeah, what do you know about awakenings? Not much, I'm afraid, but the sanitarium attracts experts from all over. I'm sure someone here can help you out. I'm also investigating possible Leaden Key activity in the sanitarium. Seen anything suspicious? Oh, I'm afraid I'm too wrapped up in my own research to pay any mind to what else is going on around here. One of the other animancers might know something, though. Okay.
Hello!
Guess we'll have to go down to the lower floor. Man, the sanitarium is a creepy place. Alright, let's speak to Belisega here. Something else you need? Oh, this is interesting. Are you the animancer who's been buying relics from Imitil? From what? I do not know this place. Alright, I guess not then. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. She laughs bitterly. Ah, that would be me. Though the lack of research subjects has made me more of an expert in counting floorboards. I would like to transfer animancy's success in buttressing pre-awakened souls to soothing those whose souls have already awakened. But I need subjects, and most of the patients here are too broken to produce reliable results. It is a tragedy to have come so far for nothing. You're in luck. I have a volunteer. She springs to the balls of her feet, beaming. Gelarde! Who is it? Aloth's lips curl into a frown. I don't know about this. She grins more broadly still. Don't be silly. The process is perfectly harmless. All you must do is stand in that cage. I beg your pardon? I jest. You Adirans are so uptight. I do not even know what the thing is used for. It belonged to the last occupant of this office, I think. Now they upgrade him to a cell. Again, I jest. She rubs her hands together, getting down to business. So, I need you to sit here. She takes Aloth by the shoulders and steers him to the couch. And try to relax. But don't try too hard. Then you will not be relaxing. Indeed. His eyes are humorless. And you must also wear these. A little cold, but the copper will help conduct your essence. The animancer fastens thick copper bands to Aloth's forehead and wrists. As she ratchets them tighter, his face twitches with suppressed irritation. Now, I will examine your soul through my scope. She reaches into her desk and produces a long chambered tube. Knobs, dials, and small toothed wheels run along the side of the device. It is fitted with Adra lenses, cut to different thickness and concavities. By manipulating them, I find the angles and densities that will allow me to track the anomalies in your soul. How exciting! I've never seen this sort of thing performed. Kana peers at the device with interest. It seems suitably complicated. Does this mean we'll get to talk to Isilmir more? I like that lady. She raises a finger. But first, we must find this cunning interloper. You will answer some personal questions while I make adjustments. Good luck. You'd have an easier time getting straight answers out of a drunk priest of Whale. Aloth squirms on the couch. Very well. She holds the scope to her eye and flicks a knob. To begin, tell me something personal. Something from a time before your awakening. There's nothing to tell. I was just a normal child living in the Sithwood. He looks to you. His face is set in a frown, but the rigid edges of apprehension show through nevertheless. What do you remember about your home? As you speak to Aloth, you feel your voice like a bell in your chest. It tolls softly, luring him into the mists of his own memory. Belisega doesn't seem to notice anything, but you feel as if your words are smoothing his essence, untangling its many threads. He closes his eyes. Comfortable, modest, quiet when Mother is away, which is most of the time. Quiet enough to hear the clink of glass on wood. This is when I know to be most careful. Father is good about hiding the bottles. Mother, when she is home, is good at pretending not to notice them. This is good. I am starting to see something. Continue. Tell us about the time you awakened. She bites her tongue as she twists one of the dials. I am in my 5th year of training. Mother is home. I can let my guard down a little, because when she is around, he is usually only angry with her. But he has heard that I have had trouble casting missiles, that my flame shields are unstable. He is furious that I have failed, and Mother's presence reminds him that he has failed too. The first blow takes me by surprise. One moment I am sweeping the kitchen. The next I am sprawled on the ground, stupidly looking at flecks of my blood on the tile. His boots, glistening with fresh polish, thud across the floor. He kicks me in the stomach, and I curl up to shield my vitals, but it's pointless. Protecting one thing only leaves something else exposed. Still huddled on the ground, I retreat as fast as I can. I retreat until the vision of the kitchen and my own trembling knees is nothing but a pinprick against a field of black. His jaw locks and his eyes twitch beneath their lids. Madico! Bella Sega furiously cranks the knobs along her scope. He's hypnotized himself with this old memory. You've got to bring him out of it. Quickly, I almost have it. We'll shake him by the shoulders. Aloth, you've got to wake up. Aloth's eyes snap open, but the expression you see in them isn't his. You've scuttled him off, a wilting daisy, that one. Bella Sega sucks a deep breath through her teeth. That's it. I'm seeing a shift in his essence. Something spreading and congealing. She glances at you over her scope. Keep talking. He seems to respond to you. What brought you here? Cracking bones and voices high in air. That warm molasses feeling that creeps down your gut when crisis is nigh. That's different. Perfetto. We have flares of a totally distinct essence. She jots shorthand notes onto the pages next to her and turns one clicking knob of her scope. Now, try to get the two of them talking. Isilmir, tell Aloth why you've awakened. Faye, he's the one needed me, hiding in his own bone bag like a turtle in its shell. Aloth's face twists in fury. I never turned it over to you. Good, yes, very good. She rests from her scribbling, only to make another adjustment to her scope. I can now see two separate patterns of essence. Where he ebbs, the other flows. It's as if the awakened soul fills the spaces that he leaves empty. She prompts you with a circling of her wrist, quill still in hand. Go on. Aloth, what's this about ceding space to Isilmir? He grits his teeth painfully. I've given her nothing. She usurps me in my own body. Aye, and I lend him a pair too. Ye should ask what I did to that old man of his. How the last time he laid a hand on us, I brake it in 3 places. Aloth's head jerks to the side. That wasn't your decision. It's never been your decision. Nay, was awakening, but now I'm stuck with you, and damned if I let your ninnying drag us both through the scupper. Ah, very good. She lowers her scope and consults her notes. I think I finally got something we can work with. I've tracked Isilmir's essence throughout the exchange. She had a particularly high-density index during the most heated portions of their argument, and her essence seemed to localize most clearly in the lower portion of the subject's left ribcage. That's right around the spleen, which of course means that she is triggered by black bile. No doubt the subject's characteristic melancholy is to blame. Aloth blinks back at you, and in the midst of his perturbation, you're not quite sure who's looking out of his eyes. That's utter horse shit. How gracious. She glares at him. Yes, never mind my years of training. I suppose you have a better explanation. We'll be diplomatic. You're close. I think Isilmir's appearances are related to potential sources of trouble for Aloth. Remove his spleen. Bella Sega carefully scratches her jaw, her gaze darting between you and Aloth. I suppose that could be true. She jots another note. I'll have to check this against other research. He removes the copper bands. Well, and good for you, but what does that mean for me? Bella Sega frowns at her notes, tapping her cheek with a quill and making a grand show of concentration. However, you catch her stealing a glance at you over the pages. Isilmir tries to take control from you when she thinks you can't face a problem on your own. You can't let her make these decisions for you. She did you a favor by dealing with your father, didn't she? I think she's trying to help you stand up for yourself. You may not like her methods, but you should hear her out. It seems that Isilmir steps in when she determines that you're in danger. It's not clear whether this is a help or a hindrance. I'll go with the second one. She did you a favor by dealing with your father, didn't she? I think she's trying to help you stand up for yourself. You may not like her methods, but you should hear her out. If you had to listen to her half as much as I do, you wouldn't say that. He scowls, but you notice something thoughtful in his frown. I've got a lot to process. Regardless, thank you for your help, Kasemir. He does not look at Belisega. She sets her notes on her desk and returns to her scope. Well, I hope this has been as useful to you as it has been to me. I finally have material worth publishing. You'll be the toast of Revua, Fente Aloth. His grimace melts into a crooked smile. Aye, advancing the right-ways principles of animancy, just what you've always wanted. As you turn to leave, you catch a darting movement out of the corner of your eye. Belisega is humming to herself, still occupied with her scope, but Aloth is holding her notes. He's just about to tuck them into his cloak when he catches you watching. He holds a finger to his lips, his eyes wide and imploring. Please, I don't want my personal information published like this, especially not after her nonsense. No, leave me out of this. Alright, no, fair enough, but do it quietly. He hides the papers in his cloak. Nay to worry, we'll see to this on our own. Alright, so that's that done.
Yes?
Should we speak now? We got some taxes, nice. Aloth looks at you with quiet attentiveness. How may I be of service? Why did you want to take Belisega's notes? He gives you a sidelong glance. Like I said, I didn't appreciate her prying. Okay. So, now you understand a little more about Isilmir. He wrinkles his nose. No thanks to that animancer. My spleen? Black bile? Come on. Belisega's methods were flawed, but you still learned something, didn't you? Only because you and I have a lick of good sense between us. But the average person? Show them a shiny gadget in the hands of an expert, and they'll believe anything. I don't know, I think you'd be more pleasant without your spleen. He sneers. Oh, hilarious. We should have her take a look at you. I wonder what she'd like to remove then. About your parents. He looks at you cautiously. Yes? Why was your mother gone so often? She was invited to join Hamneg with a landed thane when I was very young. His estate was a 5-day ride from our home in the Seathwood, so that was part of it. He gives you the smallest of frowns. The real issue, however, was my father. Despite his initial agreement with the arrangement, father was never happy with it. He would hound and harangue my mother when she was home. He wanted to know whether she was intimate with the thane, and no matter how many times she swore she wasn't, it was never enough. As you can imagine, that led to her coming home much less often, even though she still supported us financially. I'm sure she was trying to take care of you in her own way. I believe so. She had an important role managing the Lord Thane's lands and administrative duties, and even though she was away, she provided well for us. What's a Hamneg? A ceremonial marriage between folk and elf. Because the Adira mainland has historically been split between the two races, we have many institutions that are designed to normalize relations. Our monarchy is headed by folk, but an elven consort rules alongside the reigning Ferking or Mequin. This is the most prominent example of Hamneg. Ferkening, rather. Weird word. In many cases, a Hamneg allows two households to pool resources. Among the aristocracy, Hamnegs consolidate power. Sometimes, as in my mother's case, a Hamneg is a means for a noble to add another administrator to his or her household. Consorts are received with almost the same level of respect as their noble counterparts, which can be extremely useful. Of course, Hamnegs are sometimes used to sanitize an extramarital affair. He shrugs. I don't know that it's really any better, but it seems to satisfy common notions of decency. And elf and folk unions are sterile, which no doubt eases some concerns. It sounds like your father had a problem with his temper. He had a problem with my mother's heimneg. Even though they agreed upon it long ago, that the financial benefits would be considerable, that it was little different from his role as the Earl's steward, it ate at him, and so he drank and raged. When she was home, he raged at her, and when she wasn't, he raged at me. More than anything, he wanted me to become an arcane knight in the service of his Earl. I think he felt this would validate his chosen career and master. He was a firm man, as you saw, but in the end I became a successful wizard, due in no small part to his strictness. It's hard to see it at the time, but sometimes pressure is useful. Or you accomplished that on your own and you would have been fine without him pushing you. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Him beating you is a bit much, but him pushing you, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. A bit much. Clearly it's criminal, but anyway. I'm pretty sure my first playthrough I went with this option, so I'll go with this one. My thoughts exactly. At this point, I can easily say that the skills I learned were worth the challenges. And that's all I really wanted to know. He looks relieved. Very well. Okay. Let's speak to Belisega. Sientere, but I am busy. I seem to have misplaced my notes. Okay. Alright. Oh, we've got Modred here.
Well met, friend.
Modred looks up from his scroll. Yes? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. I hear that the Valian woman studies them. You should go talk to her instead. Are you the animancer who's been buying relics from Imital? Who? I don't have time to barter with adventurers, if that's what this is about. Okay, just looking around. And be quick about it, and don't touch anything. The sanitarium has a lax visitor policy, but I don't.
Good day to you.
I may as well tell him Hellig's dead. Hellig is dead. For good. Modred lets out a long breath. Then I can rest easy. You've done a great service for Animancy, for the sanitarium, and for me. Thank you. Glad to be of help. Farewell.
Welcome.
Of course, take your time. Okay.
Hail and well met.
Seems to like us more now.
Greetings.
Alright. Has anything unusual been happening around here? You must be joking. This is the sanitarium. Nothing is usual down here. He pauses. Although now that I think of it, the patients seem more agitated lately, but they're Cardman Azo's responsibility, not mine. Modred nods, taking a deep breath. Then, if there's nothing else, alright, I'll be on my way. So that's interesting. Cardman Azo is responsible for the sanitarium. Who do we have here? Ripley.
I'll get it open. Finished.
Oh, some notes. Okay, I should read those. They look important. And I should read that. That also looks important. Speak to Ripley.
Hail and well met.
A young Orlan woman traces her fingers along the spines of the books in front of her, row by row, her motions quick and skittish, like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Me? I'm just Master Azo's assistant, but there's a visiting scholar from Revois here named Belisega. She claims to know about them. If there's nothing else, I need to get back to my work. Are you the Animancer who's been buying relics from Imital? I'm not an Animancer, so no. But I do know that most of those relics are stolen from ruins in Erglanfath. Selling them is illegal. What do you do here? I mostly help Master Azo set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized, since he's too busy to do it himself. Okay.
Hail and well met.
Hello again. I'm investigating any suspicious activity in the sanitarium. Oh, I'm just Master Azo's assistant. He'd know more about that, but he's in the middle of an busy with some patients. You won't be able to see him until he comes out from the patient ward. How do I get into the patient ward? Only Master Azo has access? I guess Head Warden Ethelmoa does too, but he's, you know, a statue now. Is Azo busy with patients, or is he running some sort of experiment? I'm just an assistant. It's not my place to gossip. I'm sorry. I'd best be getting back to my watch. Sometimes we get people in here trying to make trouble for the Animancers. I wouldn't mind being better armed, so what if it makes the clients a little nervous? I never thought I'd be taking orders from a talking statue. If you're here as a client, you'll want to be talking to an Animancer, not me. I'd best be getting back to my watch. Okay. And what do we have in here?
Margaren's fire casts light.
The edges
in
of the
dark
cage are dented
places.
and scored with claw marks. Is there anything hidden around here?
Be cautious. Be constant.
Alright.
Keeping an eye out.
We have a note from Azo. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the sanitarium stores. I don't have the time to deal with the head warden's inevitable questions. Cardman Azo. And what do we have here? North Ward patient record Batixa, the Pale Lady. Subject is female, mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject vacillates between violence and severe depression, resulting from guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. North Ward patient record Graham. Subject is a male, approximately early 30s. Powers of speech absent, presumably as a result of the overfragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal subject for present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. Idleman, the Midnight Man. Subject is male, mid-20s, displays acute dissociation and paranoid delusional tendencies, causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude possibility of further use in present research. Uskgrim. Subject is a male, approximately 17 years of age, admitted for episodes of catatonia followed by occasional violent outbursts. Initial analysis of soul revealed severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Said deficiency all but eliminates the possibility of utilizing the subject in present research. Interesting. Interesting. We're discovering some more things here. What do we have? Confer with the head warden about how to proceed. So he invited me to speak to the Animancers and see if they've noticed anything unusual. Nan said she's been too involved in her own research to pay attention to what's going on. Modred mentioned that the sanitarium patients are more agitated than normal and that Cardman Azo is responsible for their care. And I've found patient records suggesting that Cardman Azo has been experimenting on a patient named Graham against his will. Not to mention the others as well by the sounds of it. Was Graham the one that was most suitable for his research? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so he's researching on him. He's the ideal subject for present research. Why is that? Male, approximately early 30s, so the other three he's not researching on because they're not ideal, but Graham he is. Powers of speech absent. Overfragmentation of his soul. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, he's obviously doing some pretty unethical stuff here. What do we have here? Oh, that's just the taxes. Nice. Okay. Okie dokie then. Let's, yeah, okay. Cardman Azo was absent from his office, and he's evidently been running some secret experiments. I should take this up with the head warden. Whether this is connected to the Leaden Keys operations remains to be seen.
How do you do?
Okay, well, she's not gonna tell us anything. So we'll have to go and speak to... we'll have to go and speak to, Head Warden Ethelmoa.
Hail and well met.
Carbon Azo must be the dude who's buying relics from Imitil. There's no one else who's admitted to it, or seems suspicious. Or did I already sell? Oh no, it was Nadine, wasn't it? So that's how I got that Ingwithan Scepter. Anyway, that's fine. Alright, let's speak to Head Warden Ethelmo.
How do you do?
Have you learned anything of interest? I found records that Azo may be running some questionable experiments. Experiments? Cardman Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Cardman. I had hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I am granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter, and I for one am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask also that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Okay. There's a large and rather notorious black market for uncatalogued Ingwithan relics. I stay far away from it. Alright, good to know. So, we'll have to go and investigate the patient ward. I've been given access by the head warden to enter the patient ward. The animancer in charge of the patients, Cardman Azo, has been running unauthorized experiments. His suspicious behavior is my best lead toward finding the leaden key agent. Azo's own records show that he sometimes forced patients to undergo experiments even when they were unwilling. One patient from the North Ward, Graham, was a frequent test subject. Graham may be able to shed light on whether Azo has been working with the leaden key. Alright. Now, what was the leaden key task the Acolyte gave me for this? Prisoner by choice, don't let him meet the woman with the scar over her heart, or something like that. Alright. The head warden says you can go in. Be careful in there. Okay. Better to cage the animancers than their patients. I agree, Durance. Alright. Let's leave things here for the moment, and we will pick up in the next episode, continuing our exploration of the Brackenbury Sanitarium. See if we can find that leaden key agent. But we'll leave it there for now. Oh, a vicious war criminal has arrived, seeking employment. He was nearly set upon by brigands on the road, but our patrols intervened. Okay. Oh, that's a... Ooh, -4 prestige, but +3 security. 350 copper per day. Okay. Don't think I'll take that. But that's interesting. Alright. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. As always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with the next episode in this campaign. I plan, of course, to carry this save forward into Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. And then I'll obviously be playing Avowed once that comes out. Really looking forward to that one. So yeah, I'll see you then. As always, take care and have fun.